Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about an important topic, which is collection curation and why I'm getting rid of these 7 perfumes. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Max, and in today's video, we are going to tackle why I'm selling 7 specific fragrances and why it's important, in my opinion, to really scrutinize and critique and refine your collection over time. At least that is my approach that I take, and I guess I'll just take you through why I do that and why I enjoy doing that. So if you enjoy fragrance related content, this is the channel for you. Be sure to hit the like button, hit the sub button, and let's get right into this. So I have I would say a pretty large fragrance collection at this point. I'm not going to tell you how many bottles I have specifically, but there's enough, right? So it gets to a point where you look at stuff and you have to make a decision. Okay, what do I like wearing the most? What can go? What's a love and what's just a like? And this is where really difficult decisions have to be made. But for me, when I sell a fragrance or when I give it to somebody, right, or get rid of it, however I do that, the way I know I made the right decision is when I never even think about it ever again. And for these 7 perfumes, I know I made all the right decisions because I haven't even thought about them until right now when I talk about them in this video. So the first fragrance I want to mention that I decluttered is actually an homage that I was supposed to feature in my homage 5,000 subscriber ranking video. Now you might say, why didn't I save that fragrance until I filmed the video to include it in the ranking? Well, the fragrance that I got rid of is called Homage Ciel Man, or maybe you know it as Ciel Pour Homme. It's a discontinued, I would say fairly under the radar homage, especially for the old discontinued ones. You hear people talking about, Bracken Man, Myths Man, all this stuff. You never hear about Ciel. But for me, Ciel is not only an outlier in the homage catalog, but it is, in my opinion, really redundant with homage Silver Man, and I simply prefer and own Silver Man. Both of these fragrances are freshies, right? They're floral. They're kind of this 90s aquatic floral, fresh, clean sort of vibe. A lot of white florals. Ciel in particular had a nice lavender note, but side by side comparing Ciel to Silver, the decision was clear. They smell, in my opinion, about 90% similar, and for me, Silver was just a little bit more interesting, and I did prefer it quite a bit. So that's why I got rid of Ciel Pour Homme. Maybe I should have kept it for the rating, but honestly, I don't really feel anything of value was really lost there. So moving on, I actually got rid of 3 Chanel Les Exclusives. Now this was difficult for me. It really was. But in the end, not really. So the first one I want to mention is a beautiful, beautiful Chypre, which I don't think really gets enough love within the Chanel Les Exclusives line. It's called 31 Rue Cambon. This is their Chypre. And the reason I got rid of it is even though it's gorgeous, even though it's a very Chanel take on a Chypre, it's clean, it's classy, it is supremely elegant. It just simply couldn't contend with some of the other Chypres in my collection, such as Diaghilev. When it comes down to it, it's got to be a this or that with some of these fragrances. And I'm sorry, I don't know if I would pick any Chypre over Diaghilev. Maybe Antaeus, but even then it might lose out. So 31 Rue Cambon, even though it was gorgeous, I felt it lent itself a little better to a different sort of personality. I felt as though it was a little bit feminine leaning. And of course, Diaghilev just firmly kicks it out the door, in my opinion. The next Chanel Les Exclusives I got rid of was actually Eau de Cologne. A fairly easy choice for me, honestly. While it's beautiful, it literally lasts 30 minutes, and I just don't care. I just don't care. Whatever. Like, I would rather wear other citrus fragrances. I would rather wear Azamor Les Orangers, Bigara de Concentré. I would rather wear Luban à l'Akdar. All of these fragrances have significantly better longevity and are just far more interesting, even if Chanel Eau de Cologne is extremely high quality as an eau de cologne. And the last Chanel Les Exclusifs I got rid of this was a tough one, probably the toughest one for me, was Bois d'Azil. This was my sort of summer sandalwood, but again, it was kind of just a little too feminine leaning for me. It did have that sort of powdery, aldehydic, citrusy thing that can lean feminine in some of the Chanel fragrances, in my opinion. And while the sandalwood note was absolutely beautiful and creamy with that wonderful floral, ylang-ylang yellow floral thing going on, I just felt it wasn't doing it for me. So I got rid of it. And I've come to realize that I prefer my sandalwoods to be actually kind of like syrupy, almost like gourmand leaning, with some florals, with some vanilla, with some spices, stuff like Mysore and Senza from Orige L'Adore, Chanel Egoiste, which I think is just the better sandalwood from Chanel anyway, and it is a fraction of the cost, and I own it. And then, of course, arguably my favorite sandalwood of all time, Serge Lutens Santal de Mysore, is just outstandingly good. If you've never tried that, highly, highly recommend. Okay, now the weirdest fragrance that I appreciate even after I got rid of it, but it just had to go because this one was a difficult wear experience. And it is a crazy fragrance. Let me know if you guys have any experience with this fragrance. It's called Bogue Mem. This is a lavender fragrance, but let's just say you've never smelled any lavender fragrances quite like this unless you experienced a proper vintage version of Guerlain Jicky. Luca Turin said Mem is the craziest thing done to lavender since Guerlain made Jicky. That's a pretty bold statement from Luca Turin, who's a perfume critic. But I think he's 100% correct. Bogue Mem was an insanely animalic herbal lavender that was huge. I mean, gigantic fragrance. One spray was suffocating. 2 sprays was, I'm not even joking, probably 24-hour longevity. It just never went away. I appreciate it. I actually really enjoy it even till this day, but it was just one of those fragrances that I found to be fatiguing at a certain point. I will say though, if you're looking for a lavender fragrance like no other, check out Bogue Mem. What a ridiculous fragrance that is, truly. Okay, so another one I decluttered was actually Fougère. Yeah, I put up like a Fougère showdown sort of thing. And I don't really know if this really counts as a Fougère, but, it fits loosely into that category. This was actually a Rogue Perfumery creation by Manuel Cross called Fougère Laube. This fragrance is essentially a Manuel Cross Rogue Perfumery take on the DNA of green Irish tweed from Creed. I never really liked green Irish tweed. I tried to give Fougère Laube a little bit more of a chance, and I liked it, but it was just a little bit too bitter. It was a little bit too grassy and green. I'm not too much of a fan of that sort of bitter green aspect. I struggle with notes like galbanum. So, yeah, in the end, Fougère Laube, it just had to go. And another thing I want to mention about curating your collection, sometimes, getting rid of a bottle, you get to wear more of what you love, right? Because you're reducing the amount of bottles you have to rotate through in your collection. So for me, it's just a win-win, Okay, and the last fragrance I got rid of, guys, was, I wanted this to work for me so bad, but it just did. I couldn't do it. This was Profumum Roma Aqua Viva. Now, this is a very famous fragrance. This is the best lemon fragrance ever made in the history of perfume. If you want to smell like a lemon, look no further. Aqua Viva has you covered for 10 plus hours of wear. And, it's the best, longest lasting, most natural smelling lemon fragrance I've ever encountered. But the problem is, I just smell like lemon floor cleaner, and it kind of gets boring at a certain point for me personally. I like fragrances that transition or at least have some sort of shift. And for me, Aqua Viva was just like lemon, lemon. I'm a fucking lemon. It's like okay, fine. I would I would much rather wear other citrus fragrances. I don't really care about longevity. I really don't. Like I don't need a 10-hour citrus. If I'm going to wear something that is super fresh, that lasts forever, I'm going to reach for an incense. I just am. Like something like Luban al Akhdar, something like Extra Virgo Oracle. These are the things I would just prefer to wear. And that was the final nail in the coffin. The fact that I would just prefer to wear something else, had to get rid of Aqua Viva, even though you're looking for a lemon fragrance, there actually isn't anything better that I've tried, to be honest with you. Okay, so that is going to wrap this video up, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know your experience with curating your own collection. How many fragrances have you sold? Do you regularly look at your collection, scrutinize it, see what's going on with it, and how often do you kick fragrances out of the door? I look forward to reading your responses, and I will see you guys in the next video.